The following podcast contains potential spoilers for the Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
Call it fate, call it luck, call it karma.
You're listening to Fate, Luck and Karma, a Ghostbusters fan podcast from the West Midlands Ghostbusters.
If this is the first time that you've joined us, you will notice absolutely nothing different about that introduction. But if you are a veteran listener from one of the 29 countries, I think it is, that we've reached so far across the world, you may have noticed that that was not the lovely Annie Potts doing our intro. That was actually the equally lovely Sassy Sue, one of the heroes of our last episode over at the Firehouse, Hook and Ladder 8 in New York City. And I promised her that as a thank you for doing all of that roving reporter stuff, that she could intro the next episode. So sure enough, promise kept, job's a good one, but I'm afraid, Sue, you're going to get bumped next time for Annie, because it's Annie Potts. But, much love, and thank you for doing that, Sue. And again, thank you to Sue and Ivan for everything they did for the last episode. You are listening to Fate, Luck and Karma, a Ghostbusters fan podcast from the West Midlands Ghostbusters here in the UK. And I'm mostly joined by
Jay Wood,
Lee Lawrence,
Theo Wilson.
But that's not all, because we are taking this formula, this magic formula of four that's worked for the Beatles and has worked for other famous Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, for any other famous fours?
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four, of course. Thank you. I'm a comic geek. Why didn't I think of the Fantastic Four? So we've taken this formula of four being a magic number and decided to throw that out the window and introduce a fifth. So we would like to introduce you and officially welcome to the Fate, Luck and Karma family. To be fair, he's actually legitimately in the family of a Fate, Luck and Karma podcast. Give it up, please, gentlemen, making his podcast debut, Connor Lawrence, everybody, give it up. Hey. And if you are observant, if you have paid attention over the course of the last 8 episodes, you'll know that there is another Lawrence in our fold, of course, Lee. And yet, this family resemblance is more than just name. Connor is Lee's son and has helped us out on countless occasions when we've gone out in the world and done live events, is a Ghostbusters geek just like we are, but is unfortunately not of age to drink and technically shouldn't be of age to swear. So we've decided to ignore both of those things and send him a bottle of whiskey and also swear an awful lot in this episode. So, Connor, make yourself at home, put your feet up,
okay,
contribute whenever you want to, interrupt your dad mostly because, he's used to that.
Yeah, you thought one Lawrence was bad enough, now you have two.
Double trouble.
We can deal with two Lawrences. So we're going to be talking quite a lot today. We've got a couple of different bits of Ghostbusters news to fire through. Every single one of them, though, coming from Ernie Hudson. As the marketing push for #AfterAfterlife gets going, we're obviously going to be seeing a bucket load more merch coming our way, or at least we hope so. So we're going to have a little bit of a chat about some of the wonderful toys that we might get to see on the run-up to the new movie. From there, we've got a little bit of a new feature for you called But Did You Like It? More on that when we get to it. And, of course, the return of unnecessary Ghostbusters censorship. And once again, bit of fan service. This one has also been designed for the OGs of Fate, Luck and Karma, with you guys in mind. But more on that in a little while. Silky smooth segue. We have got 3 bits of news, guys, that have come from Ernie Hudson. He's been doing the rounds, giving a bunch of interviews to various different sources about what we can expect from the upcoming #AfterAfterlife movie. And I want to get your reaction to these tiny little quotes that have been pulled from those interviews. So, the first one, he said this: I'm very happy to be part of that franchise obviously being Ghostbusters. I love it, and I think the fans will like the new one as well. You know, there's a lot going on, and I was really happy to see Bill not just be back in it, but be really enthusiastic about it. And Danny and Annie, it was fun. We finished it up, and we'll wait to see what it all kind of comes together and looks like. An enthusiastic Bill Murray on the set of hashtag After Afterlife, gentlemen. Surprised?
No, Bill's a god, let's face it. He's going to be enthusiastic about anything. That man turns up at weddings, random weddings, as a barbecue.
Yeah, I think very enthused and very excited about the film, and obviously very happy to have a bit of a reunion going as well, and I suppose getting the old band back together, as the saying may go. But yeah, very excited, and also very, very keen for people to see the film and, you know, see all the hard work they put into it, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. And it is obviously official confirmation that Bill Murray is absolutely back in the movie. We kind of knew it anyway, right? But
yeah.
There's Ernie Hudson absolutely confirming that the old gang is back together, like Theo's just said, and apparently happy to do so. So that's surely only going to be a good thing for what we see on screen at the end, right?
Sorry, Chief, did someone say anything about Lewis Tully making an appearance there?
Nothing yet, Jay, about the return of Lewis Tully, I'm afraid.
Disgusting.
Rick, if you're out there and you're listening to this, please come back. If not for all the fans, at least for Jay. He needs this.
Yeah, he does.
He really does. He's a big fan. He'd love an action figure. He'd love a meet and greet, to be honest.
I really would. And have you actually? I don't know whether we've discussed this, but have you seen he is actually back in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids as well? I can't remember, but I think we might have done. But I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, it's nice to see him come back and doing more things again. I mean, let's face it, the guy's hilarious. And, I mean, fair play for him having to, not having to, choosing, I should say, to step back and prioritise things. But it's been time now, and he obviously feels comfortable enough to be able to start stepping back into doing something he loves. And yeah, I'm all for that. Same with Bill as well.
Keep the faith, mate. Keep the faith. We've got the campaign going, so you never know. You never know. Also from Ernie Hudson, we've heard a little bit about how the current writers' strike over in Hollywood might actually impact on the release of hashtag After Afterlife. He is, I guess, preparing us a little bit, guys, for potential delays because of that writers' strike. Obviously, it only really impacts on the actual filming of movies, and Ghostbusters has seemingly moved into the post-production stage. But of course, it's not uncommon for actors to get called back to do reshoots or rework certain scenes if they don't end up working out quite as the director would have liked in the final cut. Let me run through with you exactly what he said. And this was talking to Screen Rants. Shouts out to Screen Rants. Thank you for allowing us to blatantly rip off your exclusive story. He said, "We finished. The movie is done. It's wrapped. Obviously, they're editing and doing whatever else. I've heard rumours the end of the year they'll push for, or maybe spring next year. I never know how the studios are going to do whatever they do. But the filming is done, which was a little bit difficult with the writer's strike and everything going on. So I know there was a lot of shuffling around in terms of where it was being done, but I'm thankful that we at least got it done in the can, and now, like everyone else, waiting to see what it all looks like." If you had to predict, do you think that Ernie is preparing us for a potential delay in the release of hashtag After Afterlife? Theo, we'll come to you first if we can, mate. Is the writer's strike going to stop us from getting a new Ghostbusters movie in 2023?
Well, I'm hoping not. I mean, I'd like to think that what they've filmed and got sorted and finished doesn't require any heavy editing or doesn't require any chopping to make sure that it fits into a normal running time. I mean, nowadays movies are getting a lot longer, significantly longer than your average hour and a half, 90-minute film. They're exceeding 2.5, sometimes even 3 hours. I mean, 3 hours of a new Ghostbusters film would just be heaven, but It's whether it does require any editing and what's going to end up on the cutting room floor, if there's going to be any reshoots, if there's going to be any edits and, as you said, reshoots of scenes where the dialogue may not be as clear or they may not have captured the right angle. I mean, hopefully it does appear by the end of the year, but I suppose hopefully we would like it to be at the end of the year. If it does require that sort of editing, maybe be realistic and think that if we want a refined, perfected, finished product, then next year would be realistic to say rushing it maybe. Just hoping that it doesn't affect it too much. Fingers crossed.
All right, cool. What do you reckon, Jay?
I think it will go on as planned, personally. I think the how the business is at the moment, if they sort of delay it any further, it's going to start having knock-on effects with other blockbusters that are around about that time. Marvel are ready to release a load of them. DC are getting ready to release a load of them. So I can't see it benefit them to actually postpone it. That and the fact we know there's a few movies in the pipeline. So it's just going to have a massive detrimental effect to all of it. So no, I think we'll be on for the end of the year.
All right, cool. So all positive so far. Everybody expecting it before the year is out. Lee, how about you, buddy? Are you gonna carry on keeping the faith?
Absolutely. I think it's more of a precaution. We all know about the writer's strike as previously mentioned. There could be that possibility that it may have an effect and it may push the film back slightly. I would like to say I'd say I'm in the 90% sure that it will be out when they hope it will at the end of the year. But if not, I reckon it will be probably January. End of January. If they need to push it back, I don't think they'd want to push it back too far. Hopefully everything, as has already been said by you guys, they have everything filmed that they want to get filmed. There won't be too much needed to be reshot or redubbed or what have you. So yeah, fingers crossed. If we've got to wait, I'd rather wait and have a solid product than have it rushed out and just not live up to people's expectations.
Okay, so a potential delay, but nothing too heavy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that. And remember, in the grand scheme of things, we were supposed to get Afterlife before COVID struck. And that actually ended up making us wait another year or two. So in the grand scheme of things, if it bounces by a couple of months, I don't think it's the end of the world. But yeah, fingers crossed. The crew are working in post-production on it, maybe even as we speak. And who knows, it might be taking shape right now in an editing suite somewhere in the USA. And final bit of news coming from Ernie Hudson. He was talking about his role in the upcoming sequel. He said, Winston, I think his place, what this last movie Afterlife did was to give him a place to be and a purpose. Why is he here? Well, he's the guy who has the money to keep this thing going. So that was good. It wasn't so much more because we do have these new characters. We're introducing new stories, but he has a place and purpose for being there. I think in earlier movies, you establish the friendship between the three guys. They've already established a business. So how much do we... And I don't totally understand all of that, but Winston definitely has a place. Now, how much of a place and all of that gets decided on by other people. So kind of mixed messages there, with Ernie Hudson saying that Winston has a much bigger role and much more relevant central role in this next upcoming movie, but yet not quite the definitive statement that you might expect from him about his role. Confusing much?
Yeah.
I think just from what we've seen so far, I think we all... I mean, my theory is that he's going to basically be like the CEO and the bankroll for the Ghostbusters, let's face it.
Yeah, he's the backer, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Afterlife is going to be set, 4 or 5 years after Afterlife? I'm not even sure how many afters we've got now. So after Afterlife. So, yeah. He's just...
No, Afterlife would be the sequel to #AfterAfterlife.
Yeah.
This is just Afterlife.
Okay. I went a little bit cross-eyed then.
Afterlife squared.
That's the one. Yeah, so he's definitely going to be bankrolling it. I mean, we could see anything we could see We could see new headquarters. We could see London branch. We could see different franchises. There's loads of stuff we could see.
Whatever the case, we are eagerly awaiting.
We're going to love it no matter what.
Like the good little Ghostbusters geeks that we are eagerly awaiting the reveal of exactly when we're going to be getting that movie, the storyline, the merchandise, all of that fun stuff. Speaking of merchandise, and as we get closer to the release of the movie, it's fair of us to presume that there's going to be some pretty cool new toys coming our way. In the literal case, because, we're not above grabbing really, really cool Ghostbusters toys, but maybe some more higher end merch and replica items as well. Jay, I know that you personally have spotted a rather cool new piece of movie memorabilia coming our way, all the way from Ghostbusters in 1984.
Absolutely, yeah. So they've recently, I can't remember what the company's called, but they've actually released a screen accurate red T-shirt, the one that Venkman wears when he's dancing around the Fountain Square in front of the lovely Dana Barrett. Yeah, so they've released that, and it just got me thinking, like, what else would we like to see from these movies? Like, it's just really exciting. I mean, I'm a big geek, big collector, and what would we all like to see from this film, or what would we all like to see coming soon?
So let's open it up to the floor, guys. Is there anything that you haven't yet been delivered by the Ghostbusters Christmas fairies that hopefully you might find under your Christmas tree for Christmas 2023? Theo, let's come to you. If you could just cherry pick one bit of merch that either doesn't exist yet or that you haven't got yet, or something that you really, really hope that you're going to see, can be from the entire Ghostbusters universe, what would it be, buddy?
1-in-1 replica colander hat.
That's a good one.
Nice. All right. Again, much more love for Mr. Moranis. All right. Love that. How about you, Lee?
Wearable colander hat.
It goes without saying. Of course, it'd have to be wearable. Lee, how about you, bud?
I've always had a soft spot for the Extreme Ghostbusters trap.
Okay.
I think that design is really cool, and I would love to get a replica of that.
I mean, it's a little niche, perhaps, but niche things can work really, really well. Okay, nice. Jay, are you already in a happy place with getting the Venkman jacket, or is there something else that would be on your wish list?
This is everything that's on my wish list. I'd like a life-size replica of the firehouse. That'd be lovely.
Yes.
Surely that's just a firehouse.
Life-size replica of Ecto-1. That'd be lovely. Yeah, I would really love to see as well. I would love to see a new. I don't know whether anyone remembers it, but it was the Yellow Beetle.
Yes.
The Highway Haunter. And it used to turn into like a big praying mantis.
Yes.
I want to see some stuff like that.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Some of the old ghost designs in the Kenner toys were great.
It might have been called like the Highway Haunter, and then obviously I'd like to see some the plasma series expanded. We've all said we want like Vigo, we want the Scaleri brothers, we want the taxi cab driver, I want the taxi cab. There's just so much I want. And I'll tell you something else we want. Me and Theo were discussing this the other day. We want some goddamn Ghostbusters car accessories.
Yes.
So if anybody would like to point us in the way of car accessories, Ghostbusters hubcaps, decals, key rings,
number plate surrounds,
anything to do with your car, it'd be absolutely fabulous. Obviously, we'll take any donations and give you a shout out for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. In the event that there is a wonderful benefactor out there who we've been, hinting that needs to basically be our podcast sugar daddy and just give us loads of free stuff, or indeed, finance this whole endeavor, then, do feel free and obviously hook us up with all of those things. Let's start with the firehouse and we'll kind of work our way backwards if we can.
Yep, start small. Absolutely.
We will give you some love.
We will. You could sponsor the show, get your name at the start, at the end. Heck, you could even come on the show.
We'll I'll tell you what we'll even do. We'll even drive around to you if you're based in England in the Ghostbusters camper van and do a podcast with you in the camper van.
I love that.
I was there.
Yeah, okay. That's our commitment to you, dear billionaire listener.
I did think of one more.
Theo, bring it home, mate. What's the last thing that you've thought of that you might want to get released as a bit of official merch?
I think there's a lot of love in this podcast and throughout the world over for the little clicky bricks made by a certain Danish company. Maybe a 1-in-1
Ooh.
scale proton pack made entirely of Lego would
That
probably
would
be
be
on
heavy.
people's wish lists.
That would weigh a ton,
My God, he's a madman.
but it might just work.
Yeah, I think that would be... I mean, could you imagine how many bricks it would take?
Oh, it'd be fabulous too. But you know what? That, like going back to Lego, they did. How many teasers were there where they were like fan created Dirt Farmer's house and things like that? And they were amazing, and we didn't see nothing. I didn't even actually think we got any afterlife, any just single year afterlife Lego, did we?
Lego Ideas does do entries every month where people put forward ideas and then they're voted for. I mean, things like old sets that have come back, like the Hocus Pocus house. I mean, think of when Hocus Pocus was released. There is still time. If someone builds a good one and gets votes behind it, it doesn't take that much to get it commissioned, and then Lego commission it.
Oh, wait. Technically, the large-scale Ecto,
Of course,
because of all the rust
Yeah.
stickers that you got with it, technically that was
Yeah, we'll give you that.
and no
Yes.
offense to fans of Hocus Pocus, no offense, but Ghostbusters is a bigger franchise, man. So if they can get that kind of merch for Hocus Pocus, which has had, 3 movies in the last 30, 40 years, something like that, let's get a bit of love for the Busters. All right, cool. We
There
will
is actually
see.
One thing I will say.
Go on, Jay.
Obviously, with the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film coming out soon, it is starting to restore my faith in kids' toys because the new action figures are stunning. And if we got Ghostbusters figures like that, as well as the Plasma series, I would be a happy boy.
I'd be happy with more of the merch coming over from America, because trying to get your hands on some of the merch from the last lot of releases, people living over here in the UK, it is a pain in the arse. And if you can find them, you've got customs fees and import fees, and it's just a bloody nightmare.
Yeah,
But-
Spirit don't sell international, so most people have to buy the packs from America and get them shipped over.
But it's like even just some of the basic kids' toys
Yeah,
and some of the Plasma series, they are in such short supply over here compared to everywhere else. And I get it, but there are
hello, we're over here.
people-
Send them over here.
people. We're
Yeah.
fans too.
Unless we forget, of course, over in the US, when you went to see Afterlife, you could get Ecto 1 popcorn buckets with kind of a working Ecto 1 with flashing lights and sirens and all that kind of stuff. And we don't get any of that stuff. So yeah, a call to the international merchandise community: be a little bit more international, goddammit. Send us some nice things, because we do love you too. We do love you too. So yeah, share the love if you can. Speaking of sharing the love, that was Ghostbusters news, by the way, everybody. Thank you for that. Sharing the love. It's time for a new feature called "But Did You Like It?"
It's time for But Did You Like It?, where we look at some of the worst reviews the Ghostbusters movies ever received. Read for you by R.A.I. Raymond Stantz. This from a review for the 1984 Ghostbusters movie.
Ghostbusters is filled with occult teaching, sugar-coated with a layer of comedy. It's one continual assault on the audience.
That was But Did You Like It? And no, they clearly didn't.
So Lee, we have to come to you on this one because your actual flesh and blood son is on the podcast with us this time. You are exposing him to a movie filled with occult references. Aren't you ashamed of yourself, man?
Yes, I am a terrible, terrible parent. I am so ashamed.
But at least you're owning it, so that's fine. Yeah, we'll keep those coming. We need to give a little bit of credit to James Green Jr. on that one. His book, A Convenient Parallel Dimension, has got loads and loads of examples of really, really bad reviews that Ghostbusters, throughout the years, has received from movie reviewers. So it kind of gave me the idea to steal some of those and pop them in the podcast. And it is a beautiful segue for us to put an appeal out to you, our dear listener, if you haven't done so already, would you kindly leave us a review on whatever platform it is that you're currently listening on? Because, hey, it's going to help us grow the podcast. It's going to help us grow our audience. So whatever you think of our...
Do it now. Do it.
Do it now. Whatever you think of our stumbling attempts to create this now 9-episode deep podcast. Frankly, if you heard the unedited version, you would not believe how stumbling it is. But yeah, if you love it, if you hate it, if you're indifferent about it, whatever the case, leave us a review. Let us know what you think, and we will be eternally grateful. We can offer you nothing in return but our thanks. But yeah, leave us a review, folks, and say nice things, because we're all hideously fragile, egocentric geeks who couldn't take any kind of real criticism and would just crumble under the weight of it. So yeah, please be kind.
At the end of the day, we do want to make this entertaining for people who listen as well, as much as just the 5 of us now sitting around being geeky for a half hour.
To bring things home on this episode of Fate, Luck and Karma, we have the return of what is legitimately we know for a fact, because loads of people have said that they love it, pretty popular little feature that we roll out every now and again. It was absent last time because we spent, as we mentioned, bucket load of time in New York City outside of the firehouse for Ghostbusters Day. It seems like so long ago, doesn't it? But before that, back in episode 7, we had a unnecessary Ghostbusters censorship just for the boys, and it was all about the wonderful Louis Tully. And because it worked, and it worked so well, and as a thank you to the guys who consistently rock up and make this podcast what it is, kind of made the next one for you as well, gentlemen. I give you unnecessary Ghostbusters censorship, the Mr. Gruberson edition.
Who you gonna call? I can't hear you. Who you gonna call? Louder.
My name's Mr. Gruberson. I know you don't want to be here. I don't want to be here either.
You're a seismologist?
Does that seem so hard to believe?
Figured you for a football coach.
Oh.
You. What is this?
That's some.
Yeah, I know it's a but this thing's ancient.
Sorry.
What the hell were you thinking?
You know, you two could have really yourselves. Hey, Gary.
Science is reckless.
Totally. Yes, it's punk rock. It's a safety pin through the of academia.
Ouch.
Fire it up.
Hey man, you okay?
Yeah. My hands hurt from Well, that was weird.
Yeah.
I'm bleeding. Why am I bleeding?
You had at a park bench.
Oh, right. Hi.
Hi.
Back there? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, before we became dogs and opened the gates of hell, I think that maybe we...
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. But then we saved the world, so.
That's true.
Who you gonna call? I can't hear you. Who you gonna call? Louder.
We love you, Mr. Gruberson. That was unnecessary Ghostbuster censorship, the Mr. Gruberson edition. We would like to apologise for any offence caused, but we don't want to. So that pretty much brings us to the end of this episode of Fate, Luck and Karma. Can't tell you how many technical problems we had during the recording of this one, folks. Whoo boy. I'm going to spend the next 7 to 8 weeks editing this one together and try and make some kind of workable podcast out of it. But I hope that you enjoyed listening to this particular episode. It is going to be a bit of a Frankenstein's monster, but it's going to be seamless. No one will ever know. In fact, I might even cut out the bit where I'm apologising for the fact that I've got to cobble it all together. Who knows? So thank you so much for listening to Fate, Luck and Karma, episode 9. Terrifyingly, we're hitting double digits with the next episode, and they said it'd never last. Hey, we're really going to find our voice, but we're probably about 50-odd episodes away from being able to do that. But whatever the case, I would like to say, as always, thank you to my more than capable hosts who make this entire show possible. And now there's 4 of them. You've been listening to Fate, Luck and Karma, and I have been Dean Riley, joined by...
Can't I say your name?
It's a family takeover.
Bye.
Jay Wood.
Lee Lawrence.
Theo Wilson.
Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time.
If you'd like to support Fate, Luck, and Karma, there's plenty of ways to help. You can donate from as little as $3 per month or your local currency equivalent. Just visit Ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com/Fate, Luck, and Karma. Or check out the Fate, Luck, and Karma Buzzsprout page for details of all the supporter perks you can unlock.